Happy you are here. We are joined, as always, by Greg Engert, beer director for the neighborhood restaurant group, a James Beard Award nominee. The group includes Columbia Firehouse and Vermilion in Old Town, Tallulah and Eat Bar in Arlington. Greg, it is always good to see you.
See you too.
What is on tap this week?
I wanted to reintroduce you to an old friend.
Yes.
This week. So Mr. Haselton here has actually been to this monastery and brewery on the Heiliger Berg, I guess they call it, the Holy Mountain, south of Munich. This is the famous Kloster Andechs brewery. And this is, I always, it's funny, now that it's available in the States, it kind of takes a little bit of the wind out of my sails. But whenever people would be going to Munich, because I spent a lot of time in Munich studying, they'd always be like, what beers can I miss? Well, first off, there's certain beers over there are a lot different and much better than they are here, like Löwenbräu over there, Lowenbrau. Stuff that they used to serve in the States was a Miller product that had nothing to do with that beer. They licensed the name. Over there, it's a delicious lager. Augustinerbräu, even when it does come here sometimes, it just doesn't have the freshness you get over there. So there's lots of good stuff, but the one that I still tell people to go to and to find when you're in Munich is the Andechs beers, and the best of the bunch is the Doppelbock itself. They make a helles Hefeweizen and a dunkles Hefeweizen, or a pale and dark wheat beer. They make a Vol beer helles, so just a pale lager that's delicious too. And all three of those are also now available in DC and in the US, which is fantastic. But the Doppelbock, this has been called the best Doppelbock in the world by countless people over time. So we're really lucky to have it here. And as Brennan can tell us, when you find it in Munich, that's amazing. It tastes great. But you make that sojourn down to the monastery itself, and it is just spectacular.
Not far either. You can take a train day trip. If my memory's right, I might be thinking of somewhere else. But there's, in Europe, there's a train station near everything.
And you typically had a few beers when you're riding.
Yes, and they've got a beautiful outside
beer garden.
Drinking area, beer garden with a beautiful view of valley and farmland. And
that's it. That's the one. It's only about 40 kilometers south of Munich or something, so it's really great. Let's have a sip here, and then I'll talk more about Andechs.
It's nice. Nice aroma of malt.
It really is. It smells the way like Blue Jacket smells when we're mashing in the morning. It's that just grainy malt cereal freshness.
That is good.
So
when you take that first sip off that big liter of beer over there, and you're not disappointed, it's going to be a good day.
It's funny. It's like you'd expect the Americans to serve beer in those things, and maybe Europeans to go like this, but and it's strong too. So you get a liter of this, and by the time you get down to the end, it's warm and you're feeling fuzzy.
And you're glad you're taking the train.
That's right. But an amazing place, amazing beer. So Doppelbock style is a dark, strong lager. Has its roots in monastic brewing, but the brewery does too. So the legend has that 7 Benedictine monks established this monastery south of Munich in 1455. And it's still there. Obviously, it's grown and shrunk over the years and things like that, but it's the same confines of that monastery. Legend also has it that they were brewing at the time, both to sustain themselves, but also to sell, to make money, to continue to live and to provide charity to impoverished people. And going back all those ways, that the brewers would oftentimes take one single batch of grain and make multiple brews from the grain to kind of get all the sugar out. So the first beer would bring you the most sugar, that would ferment out and give you the strongest beer. That would be a celebratory beer, maybe reserved for the abbots, the people, the head honchos of the monasteries. That's why I like big Belgian-style beers, because this transcends borders. This is all monastic breweries. Belgian-style beers bigger ones are often called ABT, as in for the abbot, like St. Bernardus Abt 12. They'd have a middle-of-the-road beer that they typically would serve to traveling pilgrims, because these were the hotels of the day as well. And then a weak kind of table beer made from the last runnings of the grain that they would consume as their daily drink. And so they've been making great beer for a very long time. In the 1600s, Paulist monks settled near Munich as well, and they started brewing, they started concentrating on drinking their strongest beer during times of fasting, like Lenten season. And this is where Doppelbock really truly comes from. They called it Salvator, after the Savior for whom they were fasting, and it became a big deal to the people, to the secular people who were looking for something that was deliciously strong. And then every brewery started making a dark strong lager in order to, there wasn't copyrights back in those days, but in order to say, hey, this is a beer just like Salvator, but it's, we can't call it Salvator, they would affix an OR to the end of the term. So that's why even today we have spot and optimator, and all those, okay. That's kind of where it comes from. So an early way to designate style before style really even existed. And interestingly, those Paulist monks and their monastic brewing would eventually morph into what we now know as Paulaner. And so Paulaner Salvator is a beer you can still find all over the place. And if you like that, you will love this. So Andechs has been doing this kind of thing for a long time. It started expanding in the 70s and 80s, and just finally had enough capacity to export to the U.S. for the very first time, starting in 2013. It's cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I can guess, but what would you pair this with?
What would you guess?
Well, some sort of meat. I guess that's sort of very wide-ranging. But if you're in Germany, you're going to have some sort of meat with your beer.
Brats.
If you eat meat.
Yeah. Brats. Any kind of meat, obviously, is great with this. It's just got this. It's toasty. It's nougaty. It's malty. It's bready. It's got raisin and Tootsie Roll qualities. It's kind of earthy hop character in the finish. So yeah, meat across the board, and that can be from your classic. It's great with Vice Versa. Actually, it's a cool kind of dark to light effect with that. Smooth and creamy like a Vice Versa is, but also with game. I mean, you can go crazy. Duck, goose, pigeon, all sorts of things like that. Steak, lamb. Is going to be fantastic. The other things that I really like with it, and this is a nod to Garrett Oliver, he's always said, and it's true, Mexican food with this stuff is fantastic. Whether it can be shrimp or fish tacos, because it's big and bold, but it's not overwhelming. It's not as rich as a stout on the palate. Think about like black beans and this, pinto beans are great with it too. Plays nicely with sour cream and spice. Sweetness will mellow out the heat of spicier Mexican dishes. And then finally, a grilled ham and cheese is awesome with this. And the sharper, the kind of richer the cheese, the better. So like Gruyere and Swiss, Croque Monsieurs, awesome with Doppelbock.
Now you're talking, you just hit on something I can actually prepare for myself. And that's grilled cheese is a vegetarian dish at least, right? We should sometime talk about great beers with just vegetarian dinner meals, because we do.
That's a challenge.
We do talk about a lot of meat.
Yes, we do.
Fantastic. Thank you, as always, Greg. We appreciate it. Everyone, please always do drink responsibly, and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another Beer of the Week.